Hello everyone, this is Fahmida Zaman. I taught more than 5 years in Bangladesh in an international school. The school name was American Standard International School. In this 8 tech class, we got to know so many different things, and I got to know so many different tools that will be helpful for us in our future as a teacher and also as a student. So to me, the definition of educational technology, that is, it helps us, not only the educators but also the students, especially from 2020 when the pandemic hit. We learned the importance of technology even more. The technology has a drastic change from the pandemic, so it evolved a lot and we tried to cope along with it. Vail focused on some significant trends in learning in connectivism, in a learning theory for the digital age, and they are behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, connectivism. So among these trends, I, as an educator, was comfortable implicating the behaviorism direction in my class. However, in the science class, sometimes constructivism is the best trend, what I believed. We watched a video in this course that Dr. Katia shared, that was on single tasking is the new multitasking. I never thought that way, even before watching the video. I do not see this as a problem, as we could get the chance to explore more. Therefore, in my perspective, it ultimately depends on person to person. However, I'm entirely on the side of multitasking. Technology helps us to be more productive because it is a tool to help us with language, specific definitions of words, and so on and so on. So productivity depends on person to person. But what I think contributes more to productivity is personal motivation and definition. So a person can be motivated to do something, but motivation can also fail at sometimes. So it really comes down to how dedicated a person is to completing something, to whether or not they are productive or not. First of all, after the pandemic, we all were too much dependent on technology. Still we are. We didn't even have time to educate the students, and top of that, we couldn't educate ourselves either. So anyways, we all tried to cope up and still trying to cope up with our new regular education system. We first started our class through Zoom. I really liked Zoom though. Then after a few months, we shifted from Zoom to WebEx, another new platform and another hassle to make the students and parents understand. And slowly and steadily, we adapted it. Lastly, one more time, we changed the platform. However, we had to evolve and adapt. In some cases, both online and on campus has positive sides and also negative sides. In my case, I would definitely prefer on-campus learning. The teacher can observe a student more intensely, I think, and even they can serve better than online mode. We got to know the evolution, the web evolution from 1.0 to 1.2 to 1.3, 2.0 to 3.0. So web evolved from web 1.0 to web 2.0 and to web 3.0. The evolution of the web from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0 and now to Web 3.0 can be used as a metaphor of how education should also be moving or developing and evolving from education 1.0 towards that and education 3.0. So education 1.0 can be classified as an essentialism or instructivism, teaching and learning philosophical orientation. Education 2.0 happens when the technologies of Web 2.0 are used to enhance the traditional approaches to education. Education 2.0 involves the use of blogs, podcast, social bookmarking, or any other related participation technologies. So education 3.0 is also about the 3 Cs, but a different set: connectors, creators, and constructivists. So these are the qualitatively different than the 3 Cs education 2.0. And then we got to know the assessment, how to assess our students and what are the tools we used. There are actually two. We all know that there are actually two ways of assessment. One is formative and another one is summative. So formative assessment is a means for determining how the learning is taking place toward meeting some end goal. Alternatively, the final outcome of a learning intervention is measured through summative assessment. I also did not assess my students digitally, and it is not that much time that we get introduced to these tools. So my school board introduced us to a limited number of technology tools, and that we used like Seesaw, Google Classroom, and quizzes and all. So another critical factor that I noticed was the relationship built up teacher, student, parent. The parent had more visual or audio knowledge about their children, leading to more interaction between their teacher and parent. So which was, I really felt this was interesting, and it really helped me. So last week we noticed in our class Daniel, Janine, and Raid and Darcy had an outstanding presentation. I really liked it, and they already mentioned using SET. That means S for student, E for environment, T for tasks, and another T for tools, for integrating different types of assistive technology in the classroom that is specific for each student. So Universal Digital Design for Learning, that is UDL, also an excellent example of a growth mindset instead of deficit thinking. The term universal design was coined by architect and designer Ron Mays. It is a combination of an excellent approach to engage students and engage them in critical thinking. So I really liked EdTech class, and I hope to use the tools like in my future in my classroom or as a teacher and also as a student.